Impact Wrestling Zone, Trey Miguel, Spider Trey coming at you live, and you are watching Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
This episode of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler is provided by Cottage Spring.
Listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approve, provided by Cottage Springs. And after this weekend, a little bit of yeet coming at you. Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and I am joined by the one and only Mike. Mike, how the hell are you?
I think we're changing your name to Mr. Money in the Bank this weekend.
What a weekend that I will say, and I'm gonna give a pretty good rundown of my weekend in a minute here. But Toronto showed up this weekend. Unreal response from Toronto for WWE.
I have a lot of things. I only got to see things from the television side. I had to work this weekend. I just came off a vacation, so I could not justify going to any pay-per-views this weekend. But I watched it all on television. I saw Toronto show up. I have a lot to talk about when you're done what you have to talk about, which is a lot. I have a lot to say about the so-called wrestling fans in the world, and like a lot to say about the so-called wrestling fans in the world. And the first thing I'm going to say is right now, because this is going to support everything that you're about to say about Toronto and Toronto fans. For some stupid reason, so many people have come out to say that, number one, that this is one the worst pay-per-view of the Triple H era, which number one, I already called bullshit on. I thought it was a great PLE. Second of all, people keep saying that the crowd was dead and the crowd wasn't into it. And I'm like, what pay-per-view were you watching?
Yeah.
And not just the pay-per-view. SmackDown, the pay-per-view, the NXT pay-per-view. Jump over to Ottawa and see that's the hottest I've ever seen an Ottawa crowd. Listen, I've been to some Ottawa shows. Ottawa, it takes them a lot to get into stuff. Not just wrestling.
Well, it's because they have to cheer for the Senators for a long time, so there's not much to cheer about.
Hilarious. But Ottawa, it takes a lot to get Ottawa hot. Ottawa was hot on Raw. Toronto was hot for 3 straight nights. So who's ever talking shit like that, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But you were there firsthand for what was that, 3 nights?
I was there for 3 out of the 4 nights. I actually started my week on Thursday. I went to the Sami Zayn and Friends comedy show, which was absolutely incredible. I had such a good time at this event. And I would highly recommend going to one of these events if they are in town.
I want to do one regardless. It doesn't have to be Sami Zayn. If the One Dead Man show comes through, on the next time we have a pay-per-view in town, I'd really like to do that. But there's a lot of these that do these one-man shows that I would really like to go to. If Dolph Ziggler's comes through town,
I've seen Dolph Ziggler's in the past.
Jim Ross's comes through town, I'd like to see these. I really would.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them. I've been to Jake the Snakes, and I've been to Dolph Ziggler's, and I've been to the $1 Million Man's, I think.
Is his good?
I don't remember, so probably not.
Okay. I feel like it would be like preachy.
No, it wasn't preachy, but
no. Okay.
But Sami Zayn's blew them all out of the water.
I went to an indie show years ago, many years ago, like over 20 years ago, that was promoted by Ted DiBiase, and the entire thing was religiously based.
Was this like one of the ones in the church with like the Road Warriors?
The Road Warriors were part of it. I don't know if Hawk was. Animal was definitely part of it.
You went to indie show with Animal on it?
Yeah. Many years. Like I'm talking over 20 years ago.
Yeah, I remember these shows. Greg Valentine, Bruce Beefcake were a part of them. Yeah, it was
Bruce
very
Beefcake wasn't that the one I was at. I think Greg was though.
fuck Bruce Beefcake. Well, let me give a quick little rundown of the Sami
Yeah, go
Zayn
for it.
comedy show because like it was cool. Like Sammy came out, he did a great opening monologue. I thought he was very funny. He speaks obviously very well. Um, he brought out his first guest, which was an actor from a TV show called Kim's Convenience,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
which is shot locally here in Toronto.
it
They did
is.
him and his partner came out. They did a fun little improv bit where they had to use wrestling catchphrases. So they worked at Starbucks and, they were like, yeah, I want to order this drink. It's time to play the game. And then the guy was like, well, that's just a bottle of water. So like it was good. Like it was entertaining. And then Sammy came back out and he brought out his first surprise guest, which was Bailey, which I was like, cool. Like that's a great
I
get.
That's a great get.
And then there was like a running theme throughout the night where Johnny Knoxville was teasing he was going to show up, and they had the security guard thing.
That started several hours before the show. He was like tweeting pictures of Toronto saying, "Look where I am."
Yeah,
Yeah,
he tweeted a picture. Sami Zayn tweeted a picture of himself taking a picture of the Toronto sign, and then
yeah,
Johnny
yeah,
took a picture of Sammy taking a picture. Yeah, it was,
yeah.
and then that.
I I absolutely love that they keep this gag running after all these years. Because
Me too.
when was that? When was that match? WrestleMania
It was 3 years ago.
38?
39.
30,
No,
38 or
38.
39?
38. Sorry,
Yeah.
38.
Yeah. So like the fact that this is a running gag, they must be really really good friends, right?
Yeah,
Like
Johnny
this is
Johnny Knoxville flat. When he did come out eventually, he told Sami Zayn that he looked like he had been on every drug in the world except for steroids, which made me laugh a lot.
it's very funny.
But before that, they were also doing the running gag where Johnny Knoxville was teasing coming, so there was a security guy that was a
Mhm.
comedian that was part of the show, and he was out there throughout the day. After Bailey, that they did a skit with Trish Stratus and a fan, quote unquote fan, which was really entertaining. The fan actually gave this great monologue because they did like this. All three of them did a monologue where like the spotlight would go on them and like sad music would play and they would tell a sad story in their life. Like Trish was like, one time I had to get in the ring and bark like a dog. And the saddest part is I do a way better cat impersonation than a dog. Like, whatever. It was kind of dumb or whatever. But then the wrestling fan does his monologue. He's like, do you know how hard it is to be a wrestling fan? And then which I laughed at. I thought that was the
Yeah.
joke. And he's like,
That's
let me
funny.
take you back to the year 2014. I
Yeah.
thought this was going to be a great year in wrestling. Daniel Bryan was all set to win the Royal Rumble, and it didn't happen. And then a few months later, Seth Rollins broke our heart and turned on the Shield. And then Batista showed up wearing some weird blue shit. Like it was very funny, very, very funny. And then Sammy gets hot and he yells at a security guard and he starts going, I don't want any more surprises tonight. And then right as he said that, lights dim and fucking Cody Rhodes music hits and
Amazing.
legitimate Cody Rhodes walks out on the stage.
How big of a pop did Cody get?
Unreal. Like
Yeah.
I lost my mind.
Sorry, what was the venue?
That was at the Danforth.
Okay. All right.
Sold out.
That's a good place
It
for
was
this. Yeah.
packed. Probably a
All right.
thousand people there, 1,100 people there, if I had to guess.
Cool.
Also, shout out to our good friend Chrissy, who I ran into in line, and we hung out for a little
Nice.
bit. Yeah, that was a nice treat.
Love Chrissy.
She's
Yeah.
the best, and what a
Yes.
fantastic camera person she is as well. Her and the team shot
When
GCW this weekend.
when she's on both her feet, yeah.
Yes, when she doesn't fall. Although Danny wiped out recently too, so it's well, Jody
Danny
kind of
did
took
not
him
wipe
out.
out. Yeah, Danny got like eaten alive by Jody. That was hilarious.
But yeah, like for me, like it takes a lot to like get me to pop so hard that I jump out of my seat. And when
Mhm.
Cody walked out, because at first I thought they were doing like the tease, you know what I mean? Like his music played, and we were like, whoa.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, he's not coming out. And he walked out. I was like, holy fuck. Like, so
Nice.
either way, and then Knoxville came out. It was a great night. Overall, 10 out of 10 experience. Highly, highly recommend it.
Cool. You
Friday
haven't even
night.
seen any wrestling yet.
Haven't even seen any wrestling yet, and already I'm like, I'm satisfied with this weekend.
Yeah.
Like that Sammy show was that good. So kudos
Yeah.
to Sami Zayn. He really put a lot of work into it, and also apologize. I am fighting a terrible cold right now, so if you hear me coughing, I do apologize.
I will say, out of all the people you mentioned showed up to that show, I'm very surprised Kevin Owens had nothing to do with it.
Well, I'll explain why he wasn't there in a minute as well.
Oh, okay.
He actually, I don't know if you saw on SmackDown, he cut a very passionate promo, but his mother is in the hospital, not doing very well.
Oh,
And he flew into town for SmackDown and the pay-per-view and
then
probably went
and then
back.
left right away.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would
that
assume
makes
so.
sense. Okay.
Kathy Kelly was also there as well. She was good at the Sami Zayn show. And that takes us to Friday Night SmackDown. Went a little old school, jumped on the bus with my brother, my youngest brother, Connor. Shout out to Connor. We had a great time. And shout out for the tickets. You know who you are. I will not mention your name on air, but thank you very much. And I remember like when I got the tickets, I looked at them. I'm like, I know the ACC or the Scotiabank Arena really well. I've sat almost everywhere that you can sit in there. I've had bartenders know me by my drink for many years in there because I used to go so much. And I'm looking at my brother going, I don't know where the hell these tickets are. So we show up and we met up with a good friend of the show and former person who did a show on our channel. We met up with Jay from the Jay and Tyrone fame of Good Friends Better Enemy podcast. We had a couple drinks with Jay before the show. Didn't get to touch base with Steve Bourne. He was down there as well, but our passes didn't cross. Head into the arena, and I'm going, I don't know where we're going. Like, where's the second floor? Where's the 200 level? I've never. So it turns out that we were in a private suite for this show. And I walk in, and there's free hot dogs, free chicken wings, free crab puffs.
So
we got two free drink tickets.
I know who gave you those tickets. I want to know
Kayfabe, brother.
Yeah, kayfabe, brother. I know that man's got hookups. I know that man knows people, but he doesn't know those people.
Apparently he does, but
I don't know how he got those tickets or why he would give them to you.
Because I'm the best.
Yeah.
But greatly appreciated. Thank you again for that. Good friend who will remain nameless. Max, you're going to not eat dog poop. Come, buddy. Come. Good boy.
No, he's going to eat cat poop.
He is going to try his best. We got a run in by Max, a dog here. Freshly haircut Max, a dog. He's a handsome boy. Come here, buddy. You want to go on camera? No, he's running away. Either way. So SmackDown, fantastic show as well. We had new tag team champions crowned.
Yeah, you did.
Phenomenal match. That tag match was really good.
It was really good. What a pop they got when they won the titles. What an ovation they got when they won the titles. And I'm glad it happened in Toronto. Considering like one of their greatest matches was in Toronto.
Absolutely it was.
I think of DIY. I like obviously they're not Canadian. They're I don't know where Tommaso's from, but I know Gargano's a Cleveland boy. Like they're as far separated from Canada as you can get.
Cleveland's pretty close.
But I consider them honorary Canadians because of how their track record of amazing matches in Canada.
Well, especially Gargano.
Especially Gargano.
Gargano did the tag title win that you just talked about against FTR.
He did an amazing
2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls match with Adam Cole.
He made his return to the WWE in Toronto as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can add winning the SmackDown tag team titles to his repertoire.
I'm glad they did that in Toronto.
It was a great moment. It was a great match. We had a great night at SmackDown. Cody was there, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. They cut a great promo. Kevin cut a very passionate promo about his mother being in the hospital. Kevin Owens really was a great star of this whole weekend. He was phenomenal in the main event. Mm-hmm. And then Money in the Bank. I wasn't going to go. I ended up going to the last minute. We went with my nephew, Nathan, great kid. And I guess I shouldn't even say kid. He's in high school now. And my father-in-law, Henry, and my fiance, Victoria. We all went down together and absolutely great time. We got fantastic seats. It was Henry and Nathan's first time seeing the WWE ever. It was Nathan's first time at the Air Canada Center ever, which was really cool.
Because your boy Nathan already has more WWE pay-per-views under his belt than I do.
That's it, eh?
We had a great time. I got to get my number up, man.
Yeah, and it was fun, and I think Nathan might have became a bit of a fan there. I saw him looking up some John Cena stuff, and that's the man we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But Money in the Bank ladder match was fantastic. Jey Uso Man, his entrance is so fun live.
The entrances in general were really live, were really fun, but but Jey Uso stole the show. I think, anyways.
He was up there. LA Knight got a big pop as well.
Of course he did, yeah.
And if you want to see a great battle, go to our YouTube channel right now at Counted Out 7. Check out some of the reels. I put up a whole bunch of reels and clips from Money in the Bank so far. There's a great spot where LA Knight and Jey Uso were on top of the ladder having a yeet and yeah punch off. The crowd was really into it.
Yeah, that was a good spot.
Lots of fun clips there. To me, my match of the night, probably the women's or men's TLC. I'm not too sure. Or sorry, Money in the Banks. Both were really good. It's hard to pick one.
I'm going to be honest with you. You know who my MVP of the night is?
Who's that?
It's fucking Zoe Stark, man.
Zoe, really? She not my favorite person of the night.
I think Zoe Stark upped her game that night. Yeah, people pointed out her one botch, but I think she.
I think she was a little sloppy, in all honesty.
I think she made herself I think she solidified herself as, okay, I'm going to be a star one day on that night. Keep watching.
I will give her like she looked like she messed up that Valkyrie girl a couple times there. She was a little sloppy, I think a little maybe nervous to start the match. She did simmer down as the match went.
Yeah.
Io Sky murdered her.
I think she's going to be a really big star.
We'll see about that.
Murder her. Did you see the clip of the reaction from Cole and Graves when that spot happened?
It was the same reaction that I did. It was crazy. And actually, as this airs, I've just uploaded that live footage of that spot on our YouTube page. So take a look at that. We'll talk about John Cena in a minute.
We have lots of time to talk about John Cena.
The main event.
Are we going to talk about the results of stuff now? Because I do want to get to a couple of these things.
Yeah. Well,
do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that after you
go with what you got, and I'll chime in on the live experience as we go.
Very good. Okay, so let's start with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, or Money in the Bank match, the men's. My choices to win this, Jey Uso was very high as my choice to win, but basically I said anybody but Carmelo Hayes and Drew McIntyre. Carmelo Hayes, number one, because I didn't even know why he was in the match, to be perfectly honest.
You got to put the young guy in there.
I don't see star power on that man. You want to throw a young guy in there? I can think of 10 other names that could have had his place. I don't see a star in Carmelo Hayes. Drew McIntyre, in my eyes, now we'll discuss this because my mind has changed with current events, but I said going into this that Drew was the one who didn't need this. Drew doesn't need that to get a title shot. Drew wants a title shot. Drew's going to get a title shot.
Well, I mean, he just lost a title shot.
So, but that's just he's that kind of character. He commands that kind of respect, that kind of power. So I didn't think he needed that. So when he won, I said, all right, it was a great match. It's not going to ruin the match for me, but I was a little disappointed on who won.
I was happy. I wanted Drew to win.
Moving forward through the night, when he came out to cash in, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. We don't get a lot of same night cash-ins. We also don't get a lot of these. We don't get a lot of the triple threat matches. And I thought it was interesting that he did this triple threat match with Seth Rollins, who is famous for doing that himself. Cool spot, but I'm thinking, where do you go from here? They're not going to put it on Drew tonight. I don't think so. So what are you doing right now? When Punk got involved and costed Drew, I marked out so hard and said, this is what you do. Because you and I have discussed on the show so many times in the 4 years we've been doing this, that the WWE, most people don't know I don't know if we have the right answer of what to do with the Money in the Bank anymore, because it's been squandered so many times. What do you do? Who's going to save this? Drew McIntyre is not the man who's going to save this. So what do you do with it? You use it to promote the biggest story of the year.
I agree.
People keep saying, oh, well, they could have done it without that. You could have had Punk cost him the Money in the Bank. It's not big enough.
It's not the same.
not big enough. This
Drew made
feud,
it personal, right?
thank you. 2 weeks ago on Raw, SmackDown, Raw, whatever it was, I think it was Raw. Drew made it personal when he attacked CM Punk.
Yeah,
The fuck
SmackDown
out
in
of him,
Chicago.
exactly in his own hometown, beat the crap out of him, took his bracelet. Punk put over Drew so big that night, made Drew a bigger star than he already was by allowing that beatdown to happen in that whole spot. Drew is probably the third biggest heel in the business right now because of that. So if you're CM Punk, kayfabe wise, if you're CM Punk, you want your revenge. What are you gonna do? You're gonna let him win that Money in the Bank. You're gonna let so you can bide your time and attack when it's time. Punk is a smart man. The character Punk feels a smart man, but the character is a smart man. He's gonna wait. He's gonna attack when it's time, and he did. I love everything about it, including what they did going on. The fines. I love Adam Pearson's fines. The fines, the suspensions, everything is just building to this match. I'll tell you the one thing before we go on to your live experience to this. The one thing of this story I don't like happened last night in Ottawa. This story has become so personal between these two men. I don't think Seth needs to be involved in it anymore.
I'm really hoping
I
it doesn't lead to a triple threat, but I
I think
do.
I think Seth's involvement last night was unneeded. Let Seth go off and do something else.
You know what? I think there needed to be at least a promo because Seth felt shafted and he was pissed, and Seth and Punk have history with each other.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the promos were great.
I don't want to see Seth and put it into this feud right now,
No, I don't.
but I do want to see Seth involved in it at the end of it with one of the two men.
When this is coming to its blow off, then put Seth back in.
Because we
But
do
right
have,
now,
you know what though? I wouldn't mind, not for the first match. I wouldn't mind seeing a triple threat match maybe for the second match, and then like a blow off match down the road. Like, because you could stretch this out
Sure.
another 4 or 5 months if you put Seth in the middle of it. Right now, not the right
I
time.
mean, I'm liking Seth and Drew at SummerSlam, and I'm sorry, Punk and Drew at SummerSlam,
Mhm.
and then Punk and Seth at Survivor Series.
I don't hate that. The live experience, I didn't see the botched kickout.
Okay.
I didn't notice it. I didn't I don't know what I was doing. Maybe it's just hard to see from my seats or whatever it was. So everyone's like, "Oh, that was a botch. That was a botch." And then Drew's music hit and we all went nuts. I was like, "Holy shit, here we go." But I knew Punk was coming out. I just knew it was the right time.
I didn't.
And the crowd was chanting for him all night. I don't know if that came across on TV or not. I thought the angle was fantastic. It will be the whole live view of that from Drew's entrance until the end of the match will be uploaded on our YouTube page, probably by the time you listen to this. So again, I push the YouTube page, hit that subscribe button.
Yes, babe.
Here's what I like about it. I agree with you. Everyone's like, "Oh, you wasted the Money in the Bank." Listen,
I don't think
we have another briefcase still. The women's Money in the Bank has gotten the short end of the stick the last 4 or 5 years.
By the way, you have the text to prove it. I called Money in the Bank this year.
Which one?
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty foregone conclusion that she was going to win for most people.
I liked your pick too. You wanted Chelsea Green.
I did.
And I liked the Chelsea Green pick, but I had a feeling it was
Tiffany's the right pick to win, but I mean Chelsea would have been so entertaining with the briefcase. However,
Matt Cardona would have been
he would have been the star of it. He was already photoshopping her face on his ladder match with the brief. He's the best. That's another story.
He's the best.
But this is going to give the women's briefcase time to shine, because for the ever since Carmella, nobody's held that briefcase for longer than a month. Like, they cash it in so quick. It's an afterthought.
They gotta let Tiffy like really
let her work it. She'll bedazzle it up. She's got a little thing with Trish Stratus going on right now. She's a great heel. Like, I think that this is a great time to put focus on one briefcase, not two. And the women deserve that spotlight right now because they've been busting their ass lately. The CM Punk thing, Drew McIntyre bloodied him in his hometown after CM Punk cost Drew McIntyre the title in his hometown.
Exactly.
But then Drew made it personal when he took Punk's bracelet with his wife and dog's name on it. And I like that it's something that like people will resonate with that because like people love their dogs, people love their wives, most people, lucky people do at least. But like I would be pissed off if somebody like, maybe some people are like, oh, it's just a stupid little bracelet. No, that's not. That's something that's meaningful and important to him because everybody knows how much Punk loves his wife and his dog. It's not a secret.
Fucking
So
love
now,
dog.
how do you make it personal? Another end. CM Punk cost you the biggest up moment of your career. You're about to become the world champion, and he did it again. I just think it was perfect. I think it was a great way to use the briefcase. And if people think it was a waste of a briefcase, then you're an idiot because Austin Theory tried to cash in for the US title 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, we got a big cash in at WrestleMania this year. You're fine, everybody. Relax. You're gonna be just fine. Wait till these guys get in the ring. It's going to be amazing.
This is going to be one of the greatest blow-offs in history if done properly. I truly believe it.
My pick for feud of the year so far.
I can't argue with that. The match is going to be violent.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not a big fan of them doing the what's it called? The themed pay-per-views. But you get to October, you put those two in Hell in a Cell.
Well, October pay-per-view is no longer Hell in the Cell.
Oh, is it not? Okay.
Did you see what it's called now?
No.
They brought back Bad Blood.
If it's okay, I'm in.
Which also is the first pay-per-view that Hell in a Cell appeared at.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that October pay-per-view was headlined between Punk and Drew and a. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
What else are your thoughts coming off the pay-per-view?
What else? Those were my big takeaways. Very surprising not to see an appearance of the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
I don't care. I shouldn't.
I mean, I'm kind of getting. I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored of the Wyatt Six.
I'm not. Did you not see the raw stuff?
I liked the Bo Dallas showing up in the office. If that didn't happen though, I'd be over this angle already.
The video they showed showing everybody's faces, I thought that
3
was
weeks
great.
in a row, the same thing, man.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row. You grew up in the same area as wrestling as me? Slow burn, man.
I'm all for the slow burn, but you've done literally the exact same thing 3 weeks in a row. That's not a slow burn. It's boring.
Cook. I'm okay to let them cook.
Listen, I'm fine to let them cook too, but you've done the exact same thing 3 weeks in a row. Like, yes, the promos have been fantastic, but maybe find another way to do it.
Yeah.
It was cool the first time she handed him a VHS. 3 weeks in a row, I'm like, okay.
The main event was fun. Randy Orton's entrance was
my God.
You used the best word, electrifying.
It was unbelievable in person. The only thing that topped it was maybe Cody's entrance, but even that, I don't know. Randy Orton, that was one of the coolest moments to listen to the crowd sing his song. That main event, I will tell you straight up, was incredible live. I could see it not being a fantastic television main event for a pay-per-view, but in the building, that place was electric.
I liked that the bloodline went over.
They had to.
I think that was needed. Nobody on the babyface side gets hurt by that.
No, it builds your SummerSlam match.
Exactly. So
you're gonna get Solo and Cody at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
as they should. They made Jacob Fatu look like a maniac. Right, that first spot where he took Orton's DDT and then got up, and then Orton was like, yeah, and he turned for the RKO. He's like, oh shit.
I did have to laugh at the spot where did you see the spot where Tonga Loa tries to save Tama Tonga?
Oh, he punched him in the head instead of Owens in the dick.
Well, wait, after that, yeah, you haven't done anything after that, right? That was the end of your weekend.
Yeah, that was it. I was too sick to go to NXT TakeOver, so my brother went. Everyone's raving about the show. I did not watch it.
Okay, well, before we get to the punch of the week, then, I want to talk about a few things I took away this weekend. We already talked about Punk costing Drew the title. let's talk about just yesterday on Raw. Live from Ottawa. Mommy makes her return.
What a great
And
angle.
what a great way to do it. What a great way to bring her back. And what a pop. What
Yeah.
a pop in Ottawa. If you're not following the story, it's one of my favorite stories of the year so far. What do you do when the hottest, in more ways than one, but one of the hottest superstars in the world gets written off TV for an injury? They take away her title, they put her off TV, and you know that there's no way people are going to boo her when she gets back. It's not going to happen. You're not. The fans are not going to boo Rhea Ripley. Doesn't matter how much of a heel the Judgment Day is. They're not going to boo Rhea Ripley. So what do? You put Liv Morgan in there.
Man, she's been so good.
You get Liv Morgan to play that little gold digger, that little snake in the grass for all these weeks. You have Dominic Priest and Finn Balor telling Dirty Dom for weeks, what are you doing? It's so stupid. Damian Priest, sorry, not Dominic Priest. Damian Priest, this is what are you doing? You got to cut this off. Mommy's going to be pissed off. You got to cut this off. You have Carlito with the greatest comedic relief.
Oh man,
ever.
his one-liner on Raw on Monday night was so funny.
Looks pretty hard to me.
Yeah, that was funny. Michael Cole was dying. You could hear him laughing.
It's been a great story. Then they win that match. To my knowledge, the first real win that Dom's gotten over Ray.
That's what they said on TV.
Okay. So he gets that win. They're celebrating. Liv's literally on top. It looks like they're about to kiss. And that music hits. And here comes Mommy. And Liv books it. Damien looks scareder than
Dom, yeah.
Oh my God. Or Dom, yeah. I keep mixing up.
Well, I like that they made it seem like Damien was the one who called her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they showed clip online after too.
Yeah. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely when he's watching the TV Bret Hart style.
Yeah.
I'm loving everything about this story, man. Everything.
It's been fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait to see. I really hope we get a Dominic on a ladder match at SummerSlam. Like Dominic on a pole match. Like the throwback would be unbelievable.
That is great.
Unbelievable.
And then of course NXT did a lot of cool things. The NXT pay-per-view was really cool. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Everybody who knows me personally knows I'm not a Ethan Page fan. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm happy Ethan Page is the NXT champion, but you know what? I'll say this much: that throwback to the what was it? It wasn't Judgment Day. It was a throw that finish. That match was a throwback to a Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Backlash!
Backlash. Thank you.
Great finish.
I love that finish. To see that throwback, to see that finish done again, I'm okay with with Ethan Page being champion because of that finish.
Yeah, I liked
that
it.
Was okay. That was all right. Finishing the pay-per-view and then seeing Joe Hendry's face, teasing what's coming. I like
teasing our punch out of the week.
Teasing our punch out of the week, and let's get into that because that's what I have next. I want to talk about some NXT.
Well, then let's get to the punch out of the week. And now, the Cottage Springs Punch Out of the Week. Find your favorite flavors at cottagesprings.ca.
So we have two big moments to talk about here on NXT, and we're going to start with
you're getting a punch, a double shot punch out.
A double punch, yeah.
That's punched up.
The first one is going to make our good friend Adam Contant very happy.
Yes, he sent a message, Chi. He said, and I quote, "Is it possible for your heart to have a boner?"
Sounds like something Adam would say.
Great line, Adam. Shout out. Sorry to share our personal messages on air, but that was funny.
The return of the Radicals to NXT.
And the debut of Trey Miguel in NXT as well.
I guess so. I never thought of that. Yeah, he did. I guess he never was in NXT. Shit. So it's the first time the three of these guys have been seen on national television together in a very long time. I know
Probably
they've done,
probably 4 years at least, 5 years.
So you have sorry, what's his name? Wesley.
Yeah.
Wesley looks like he's talking about retiring.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he's
in
kind
limbo
of,
because he lost the North American title match at the pay-per-view, and he's kind of just
yeah.
like, I don't know what to do now.
And as he's saying, maybe it's time for me to take a step back. That music hits, and here comes Pete Wentz and Trey Miguel, the Radicals, and they come out
The
and they say,
Radicals, what, Dean Malenko come out with him too?
I am not doing well
Man,
tonight.
are you doing all right
I
over there? I'm the sick one over here. You're pulling out, you're stealing my gimmick,
I'm
brother.
stealing your gimmick. I really am. The Rascals come out,
Harry
and
Saturn came down.
the Rascals come out. We get it. We get a bit of a reunion of the boys, which was really cool. They even do the old Rascals thing, and they said let's tear it up here, and we got that.
Yeah, looks like they're setting up a
And
6-man tag match down the road.
yeah, very cool. And of
I
course,
will say though, like the one thing, I thought Trey Miguel sounded a little dorky in the ring tonight.
I know you said that. I didn't find that.
He's like, oh, you're a
He
great
might have been.
champion.
He might have been nervous.
Oh,
I mean, this is his first time at the big times, really.
pretty much.
Pete
But I
Wentz
love
is
Trey Miguel, so I'm gonna
Pete
give him a
Wentz has
pass.
been there, you know what I mean? Goddamn right. I understand why he wanted to go back and do the Rascals, but I loved his heel run, his solo run so much that I miss that. But to
Yeah, but
see him do what he's doing
he
right
got a
now is
lot out
cool.
of it though. It kind of not ran its course, but it was good.
Like, can you imagine if instead of the entrance we got tonight in NXT, it started with the spray paint?
Yeah, that would look cool
You
in
know
the
what I mean?
WWE. WWE machine would be really good with that.
Yeah. So that's the first half. I want you to talk about the Joe Henry thing because I'm sure you watched a bit more of it than I did.
Yeah, they set up a big tag team match tonight with a mystery partner for Trick Williams, and they've been teasing it at the end of the pay-per-view. They teased it in a backstage promo tonight, the same thing with his face appearing.
Mhm.
And we said his name and he appeared. Joe Hendry comes out to a absolutely massive pop. The whole crowd sang his theme song. The arm swinging thing was shot so nicely. Uh, WWE knows what they're doing. Like, let's be real.
Let me tell you something, man. Back in 2017, 2018, I was falling off of WWE a lot. I wasn't watching Impact a lot. I was watching a lot of ROH and I was watching a lot of ICW. I actually subscribed to ICW. I don't even know if it's a thing anymore, but ICW used to have a pay-per-view subscription, a streaming subscription, and I used to subscribe to that one instead of the WWE Network because I love Grado so much. So I'm like, on the power of Grado matches alone, I subscribed. And the stuff I would see on that show from this guy Joe Hendry, where it wasn't in, I'm sure you've seen some of his ICW
Oh, I've seen
stuff,
all of his
right?
entrances. They're great.
Okay, all right, insane.
Living with Sabu is so
I think
funny.
he's the only person in ICW history that's, in my book, more entertaining than Grado.
Yeah.
He was amazing. So to see what he went on to do stuff in ROH, and I'm like, okay, we're not getting the Hendry that I like, but fine.
His first run in TNA was a letdown.
It was a bit of a letdown, 100%. But then when he came back and did this Say My Name character, when I don't know if it was Scotty's idea, if it was Joe's idea, but for them to be like, to take this character that is obviously a heel character, everything about it is a heel character, and to say, we're going to do it as a babyface, and you're going to get over as a babyface. That risk they took paid off in spades. He never needed to do dirty heel stuff. He never needed. He cheats every once in a while, and he's a heel character because the way he talks and how vain he is. But he comes out and he's the biggest babyface in the world. And WWE NXT proved that he is a superstar. He's going to get over no matter where he goes.
Well, and they booked him strong tonight.
I'm
He
loving
picked
this.
up the win over Sean Spears as well.
Mhm,
He got the
mhm.
pin for his tag team. So, yeah, man, I am looking forward. I think that we are one step closer to getting a WWE or sorry, an NXT versus TNA when Worlds Collide pay-per-view.
I hope so.
I think
I do
that's where we're going because and I'm all for it, and that is why Joe Hendry and the Rascals are our punch out of the week.
Now, before we go into my list, which, by the way, we haven't even really talked about, I am going to be talking about a lot of John Cena tonight because of John Cena's retirement speech. We are going to be talking about what I believe should be the matches that are the priority for John Cena in 2025. We'll get there. When we get there, we're going to get there really quick. But before we get there, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about 2025. I want to talk about how big of a year that's going to be for WWE. Forget wrestling. WWE alone, how big of a year that's going to be, starting with the Royal Rumble and moving through WrestleMania. I want you to hear about this. There's a lot of people's contracts coming up. There's a lot of people coming back from injury. There's a lot of names that are going to be around to wrestle between January and May of 2025. We're going to be getting, The Rock will be around, right?
Yeah.
The Rock's going to be around. We know John Cena is going to be around.
Yeah.
For all those shows. You got to think Roman Reigns will be around for these big ones.
I think Roman Reigns is going to be back right after SummerSlam, if not at SummerSlam.
Okay. Asuka will be back from injury by then.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair will be back by then.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch will be back by then.
Well, we don't know. She is not under contract at all.
I have a feeling she will.
I think so as well, but she has trademarked Rebecca Quinn.
And then look at the people sitting down right now. If you believe the rumor mills, these are all rumors. I'm not saying these are. I'm not saying truth to these, but if you believe the rumor mills, look at some of the people that have been rumored to be sitting down and talking to Triple H and could be signing a rumor or could be signing a contract by the Royal Rumble. Jordan Grace, number one. She confirmed that her contract is up in TNA in January. All right. If she doesn't sign with WWE, I'll be very surprised.
Me too.
It is rumored that sometime this weekend that Triple H has put pen to paper with the Motor City Machine Guns.
I've heard that as well.
Again, rumor. I cannot stress this enough. Rumor. Please don't quote me on saying Mike said this. Rumor.
I have quoted you already.
But if it's the truth,
lock it in.
Motor City Machine Guns showing up by 2025.
Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY.
100%.
Take all my money.
I have another tag team to throw in there. Two guys that whose contracts are coming up in the company they're with, and apparently WWE is very interested in, and they are called the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's been a lot of talks between Triple H and Penta. I don't think Penta goes anywhere without Phoenix. So throw that tag team in the mix. And then one more name. I don't care. I don't think you care, but I think a lot of people do. I think this man has a lot of fans. We just don't happen to be them. But Ricky Starks is in conversations.
I could see Ricky leaving. He's tight with Cody.
Yeah. So all those names, plus names I mentioned before, people who would be returning, all involved between January and May. That's going to be a massive year for this company.
There's something that Triple H is doing right now, and I didn't pick up on it until this weekend of Toronto, but he's found a way to bring the craziness out of every wrestling fan on the planet. And it's like he's found this way without coming right out and saying it directly to get every big town to kind of compete to become the biggest crowd.
Yeah.
And he cut this promo. I don't know if you saw it. It was on the pre-show press conference for Money in the Bank, I think it was
the pre-show. I didn't watch the pre-show press conference.
It was the thing on Friday that they did before SmackDown. And he was like, Toronto, Are you going to bring it this weekend? Because let me tell you, Paris, France, they brought it.
Mhm.
Scotland, almost there with Paris, France.
Puerto Rico.
What are you guys going to bring to the table this weekend? And I just feel like now it's like every time big shows are rolling in and they do like these weekends like Toronto or like France or Scotland or Cleveland, that like every company or every town is going to try to one up the other town to compete for WrestleManias, maybe.
Love it.
Like, and what a genius way, like without directly saying like you guys cheer. Like, are you
Yeah.
gonna bring it? Like, I love it. I think it's such a genius and cerebral move by Triple H.
I love
Now,
that.
before we talk about John Cena, because I want to talk about John Cena.
Well, you lit something in my brain as well.
Okay, you go first, and then I'll go.
Well, you just mentioned cities vying for WrestleMania. And as much as I want WrestleMania back in town, I want WrestleMania at the Skydome, the chances that are slim because they want to do these stadium shows. They want bigger crowds. They want places
Well,
where you can
Skydome's
put.
massive.
Right, but they're not doing it, are they?
Well, no, not yet.
So I have a question for you. There was a show back in 86, I want to say. You're better at dates than me when it comes to stuff. The X, okay? Do you think that they could pull that off again?
Is that even still open? That arena? I think it's gone.
Is it gone? Like gone?
I'm pretty sure. Like that's where the Jays used to play.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, that's gone.
Because oh, okay. Well,
but if I can bring you into the year 2024, Mike, we have this beautiful outdoor stadium right beside it called BMO Field, where the TFC play. That would be a beautiful place for a SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gorgeous outdoor stadium.
I like that.
But I do
one night only SummerSlam.
Not anymore. You know, there's only 2 pay-per-views, and I don't even like that WrestleMania is 2 nights, but I can accept it.
Neither do I.
The only other pay-per-view that should be 2 nights is the Royal Rumble.
I've grown accustomed to Wrestle Kingdom being more than one night.
I don't like that either.
But I want it 2 nights. Now it's like they've had 3-night Wrestle Kingdoms. I'm like,
I've never heard 3 nights.
What didn't they have a 3-night like 2-3 years ago?
I don't think so.
I swore they did. Maybe I'm having a weird Mandela effect.
You're having a weird night tonight, man.
I don't want a 2-night Royal Rumble. Are you high?
Well, the reason why I say that is because at least like you can have a men's headlining one night and the women's headlining the other night. So it makes sense. I don't like 2-night pay-per-views either, but if you're going to pick a pay-per-view to do 2 nights, SummerSlam's not it. Royal Rumble would be it over SummerSlam.
Sure. Yeah, but I don't want a 2-night.
Well, that's
I also don't want I also don't want WrestleMania in May. However, if it gets Toronto WrestleMania because it's warmer in May, then
Toronto's a dome. It doesn't matter. They could do Toronto here. They could do WrestleMania here in fucking December, and it wouldn't matter.
Well, maybe we get WrestleMania at BMO Field then.
We will never get WrestleMania at BMO Field. It will be Skydome. That's where they will go. It's humongous. Yeah. We've had 2 there. We could do another one. It'll be some time. It's going to be time before it gets there. I want to give a quick shout out to somebody that I got to spend a little bit of time with this weekend as well. A fantastic YouTube channel and a wonderful podcaster and a great guy. His name is Tantalizing Tony. Go check him out. He will tantalize you. He's a great dude. We had a great time. Mutual friend of ours, Jonah. We kind of got in contact through him. And we spent a little bit of time with the Tantalizing one as he took over Toronto. So go subscribe and check out his content. You will not be disappointed. He's a great dude.
Now, before we get in the list, I gotta say the one and only reason I'm upset that I didn't do the pay-per-view this weekend is because I didn't expect John Cena to show up. I didn't see a reason like why would he, right?
Are you talking about John Cena? Because you can't see me.
Oh, I hate you so much.
I just appeared for the people listening on Spotify. I turned my camera off. Get it?
Had I even an inkling that number one John would even show up, let alone have the biggest news of his career here in Toronto, I would have brought Finn, because Finn is a massive John Cena fan right now. He loves John Cena. Everything when he talks about wrestling now is John Cena, John Cena, John Cena. So I would have brought him because I don't know how many times we're going to see John Cena in Toronto again.
I will tell you,
goodbye. That felt like goodbye to Toronto.
You'll get one more John
You
Cena
think we'll get
appearance
one
in
more?
Toronto. Yeah,
Because that felt like goodbye on Saturday.
John Cena will be in Toronto one more time. I think he has one more match in Toronto.
So you think we have one more pay-per-view at least between now and December of 2025?
I don't think we get a pay-per-view. I think we get a Raw, and I think John Cena will be on it, and I think he will work it.
Okay, I hope you're right. I really do.
That's kind of what he implied, at least.
For that, yeah, but he also implied he was going to kick ass that night, and he didn't come back out. So
no, he never said that night.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't hear that.
Let's kick ass right here in Toronto tonight, and then he said bye and left.
I didn't hear. Well, I think maybe he meant like the rest of the show. I don't know. I didn't. I was too busy freaking out. That was an incredible moment live.
It was so unexpected. I didn't see it coming. I didn't think he would do. Number one, I didn't think he would do a retirement speech like that. I thought he would just kind of drift off and not want the attention. But even more so, I didn't expect him to do the Lager tour.
I love that he's doing this.
I am so happy about this. Now I know he's going on now to film Peacemaker, so he's going to be busy for the next few months. So when he says we're doing this between January and December of 2025, I think he means that wholeheartedly. We won't see him again until
we might January. We might see him in December. You know, to start building the Rumble,
just to start building it. Yeah, but we're not going to get him in action or anything like that until January, which is fine. People keep saying people misunderstood everything he said that night because I keep hearing people predicting who's he going to fight for his last match at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is not going to be his last match.
No, it's his last match at WrestleMania. It'll be his
last WrestleMania.
Yes.
But he flat out said in that press conference, if he can go to December, he's going to.
Well, he said he's got about 30 to 40 dates that he's planning on doing.
Yes.
This is going to be very strategic in everything that we do. Now,
that's why I didn't think it was out of the realm of possibility when I said I'm going to do a list of 7 matches.
Well, I
think it's very easy. He'll do 7 matches.
I think he's going to do about 15 to 18 matches.
I agree with you.
Okay, now before we get into your list, do you want my live experience of Cena's return, or do you want my mind frame on Cena's return? Because I have 2 very strong opinions here.
Why can't I have both?
You know what, Mike? It's your night tonight. You can have both. To say that I expected John Cena to show up in Money in the Bank, if I told you that, I would be lying right to your face.
Right.
I did not hear any buzz about it. I did not hear a rumbling about it.
Can I say it's cool that Trish did the announcement?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Trish came out and she was cutting this promo, and I'm not going to say I didn't care, but it was kind of like, okay, like, let me just regroup. I'm sitting down. I'm like, okay, maybe like a girl will come out and challenge her, or they're going to do a comedy spot, or Trish is going to punch a mid-carder. Like, and then when she was like, the way she built up, I've had great moments here. And she was like, I won my retirement match against Lita here. And I turned to my nephew. I was like, I was there for that. And, and then I tag team with John Cena here. And I was like, I was there for that as well. And then she's like, and let me bring out the 16 time. And I was like, no fucking way. Everybody jumped on their feet. That music hit. Place went crazy. Immediate John Cena sucks chance in the loving kind of way.
Yes.
But then the whole arena rapped his song.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was amazing.
Don't pretend to me to be a Cena hater. Don't look at me
in
the face
John
and say
Cena.
that you hate Cena. There's nobody. If you hate John Cena at this point in the game, you're just don't like wrestling.
That's it.
You're just not into WWE. You're not into wrestling. That's cool. That's really cool for you. Go watch what Tony's doing on the other channel and shut the fuck up. That's all I got for you. But
his promo,
John Cena. Listen, Michael Cole's going to go out and call him the GOAT. Michael Cole's going to call him the greatest of all time. Is that my opinion? I don't know.
I think he's the second. I think maybe the second.
But I think there's a fucking argument. My dad texted me this evening. He goes, my dad lives out in Montreal, and he goes, this whole John Cena retirement thing is everywhere. Like everybody's talking about it. Why? And I said, because John Cena is the second biggest name. I said John Cena is the biggest name in professional wrestling since Hulk Hogan. And I don't think that's a lie.
I do. Austin is bigger than Hogan. Steve Austin is the biggest star in the history of professional wrestling.
I agree as a wrestling fan. I think casual fans don't know that.
Um,
Or non-wrestling fans.
I think everybody knows who Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
I
Now,
don't
if
think
you're
they
gonna
know
go
that he's
by,
a
if you're
bigger
gonna
star
go
than
by
them.
like, I'm talking about like wrestling stars that made money, that took the company to mainstream.
If you want to talk about smart, if you want to talk about business, you want to talk smart in the business, yes. But you
There-
want to just talk about star power.
There's
and
only been
everybody in the
two-
world knowing who you are. I think John Cena, The Rock, and Hogan are those guys.
I think Austin's right there with Hogan. The Rock is the biggest. The Rock is the biggest star to come out of wrestling because he's the
Yes.
top movie star in the world.
Sure.
But he's not the biggest draw in the WWE.
No,
And
he's
neither
not.
was John Cena.
And neither was
The
Rock.
reason why you give it to Austin is because he made it so everybody in the world was a wrestling fan for 2 years. Hulk Hogan made it so everybody in the world was a wrestling fan for about 4 years.
Yeah.
John Cena
You're not
didn't
wrong.
quite do that, but he had a longer run on top than both of them combined.
100% he did.
So I give
put it-
John Cena the number 3.
And I'm going to go ahead and say, I think very possibly, second, maybe only to Triple H. I think he's probably the hardest working man in wrestling.
I would put him number 1 over anybody,
Yeah.
except for Vince. Vince isn't a real person.
Vince doesn't make. I said human.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
So then that brings me to, what do I want to see out of John Cena's retirement?
Now be careful. I got a whole list on this.
I'm not going to say who I want to see him fight,
Okay.
because I'll save that for you and then I'll tell you how wrong you are. That's our gimmick. That's what we do. I probably won't disagree with a lot of your lists, I don't think.
I don't think you will.
I want to see John Cena be John Cena. I'm not looking for John Cena to come out here and put over everybody. I don't want to see it.
I mean, I want to see him put over a couple people.
I'm not saying I want him to. I'm not saying I don't want him to lose. I don't want to see John Cena lose to a guy like Austin Theory.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't want to see John Cena
we already
lose.
had that, but
That's what I'm saying. Like Cena for the last 5 years has done nothing but put over people and try to elevate people.
you know what he should do?
And he said
He
that
should
in his press conference.
He should lose to Fandango at WrestleMania and then make a second career bitching and whining about it on a podcast.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I want to see John Cena in the title picture. I want to see, and you guys are going to give me heat for this, and I don't care. I want to see John Cena win the world title one more time.
I'll leave my opinions until the list.
Because he is tied with Ric Flair
Yes.
for the most title wins on the planet.
Yes.
Now, from an in-ring standpoint, Ric Flair, unreal. Great promo, great matches.
But you know the minute that he becomes a 17-time world champion, that signature that Rick does, where he calls himself 16 times, is going to turn into 21 real quick.
Yeah, he's already started doing that. He's already started saying, well, technically on this.
Yeah.
John Cena is a great human being. Ric Flair doesn't seem to be the greatest human being on the planet.
I mean,
I would love to see
We
John
don't
Cena
know that.
with the honor. We don't know that Ric Flair's not a great human being.
no, we don't know that John is.
I mean, his make-a-wishes, like,
Sure.
he's a constant professional. He has never done anything to
it was his,
embarrass professional wrestling.
No. And I wouldn't even be having this conversation up until 3 months ago. It was when he went on Stern and basically defended Vince. I got really like,
Yeah, but listen, that's got to be really hard for some of these guys.
sure.
The guys like Taker, the guys like Cena, that were there with Vince in the trenches, that have probably an incredibly different relationship to him than anybody else on the planet does. Right?
Very classy way of him to get out of that conversation again at the press conference, though.
John Pollock asked that question.
Was that John? I
Mhm.
thought I recognized the voice. They didn't flip the camera, did they? I didn't.
No, they never
I didn't
do.
see John's face.
They never
Okay.
do.
Well, they've done it a couple times. I saw, but they did it with Apter that one time.
I've only seen
But,
them do it with DDP.
Okay, well, they did it with Bill after that one time.
I don't remember that, but
But I think it was only because Triple H called him out by name. He's like, Bill. But when John asked that question, John's way of avoiding that was spectacularly classy. Listen, I've already talked about this. You want to know
Google
what I
it.
said? Go Google it.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Thank you for the courage of asking that question. Move on. Love it. Absolutely love it."
John Cena is a class act. I'm very excited to hear about who you think should fight Cena.
Mhm.
Now, when you did this list, is your number one like who you want his last opponent to be, or just who you think he should work? Like, or is it
I had
just
a really
random
hard time.
7 guys?
It's kind of random 7 guys.
Yeah, because I
first,
get that.
at first I was gonna do it. Let's do it in order of the order I want him to fight in. But then I'm like, he's gonna have more than 7 matches, so the order wouldn't really make sense. And then I said, okay, so how am I gonna order this? Then it was, do I do it in the order of how much I want to see the match? It was impossible. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of the only lists I'm going to do where the order, the rank. This is not a ranking. This is just a list of 7. This has the order means nothing on this list at all.
Do you, and without saying it to spoil anything, do you know who you want his last opponent to be?
Yes, I do.
Okay, when you get to that point in your list,
I don't think
tell me.
you're not going to agree with it.
That's fine.
But I know
I usually don't.
As a fan, I know. Do I think it's the right business? There's two methods of thinking though. From a business standpoint, I don't think my choice is probably correct. From a fan, an emotional, a guy who's watched John Cena do this for 20 years, who I want to see him do this against for the very last time, I won't change my mind.
All right. Well,
it's not the business answer.
I wrote down,
and that will be my number 1.
I wrote down 9 names that I'm intrigued to see Cena get in the ring with.
Sure. I mean,
let's see how many we have in common.
Let's do it. So I'm going to start again. These don't make, there's no real order. I'm going to leave what I consider to be the biggest names for my top 3.
Yeah.
But there's no real order here. So let's start with number 7. And a guy I think he could get a really good program out of. And we're going to start with the ring general, Gunther.
He is on my list. He is who I'd like to see John Cena beat for the world title.
Okay.
And
that wasn't my thought. But you're not wrong. There's a very, 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 very good chance that Gunther will be world champion by then.
I would like to see
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Because I would like to see Cena return that favor and really put Gunther over after.
Right.
I think a couple matches with Gunther, and I think Cena could give him a great rub.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's going to be a great program. I like the idea of him beating him for the title. That wasn't in my mentality, but I like that a lot. My 6 and my 5 go hand in hand. I'll start with 6. My 6 is Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I think that match has to happen.
Okay, I want this program. I want this match. Doesn't necessarily need to be for the title. It just needs to happen.
I think this would be a great last opponent for John Cena as well.
Okay, that's not my choice, obviously.
He would be in the running for me.
The reason I said that this ties into my number 5 is because I wanted to tie in. I want 2 stories to amalgamate. It doesn't matter really which order it goes in, but at some point he's going to be feuding with Cody. But at some point I want him teaming with Cody because he's going to need an opponent for my number 5, which is the Bloodline. I want to see Cody, possibly Roman, because I don't want to see John and The Rock. I don't want to see them. Rock's not on my list.
He's not on my list either.
But do I want to see John, Cody, and Roman versus maybe The Rock solo and somebody, and Jacob, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Do I want to see John and friends, Cody, Seth, Roman, somebody go up against the menace that is the bloodline? Yes, I do. Again, if this is my way of getting Rock and Cena without getting Rock and Cena, because we don't need that again.
I actually really like this idea of having John and Cody as a team. And I would like to see this leading up towards the end of John's run. And then I want them to win that match. And then I want John to grab the mic and cut a promo and say how proud he is of Cody and how great of a job he's done as, trying to become the new face of the company. But in order to become the face that runs the place, you need to beat me. And then I want to see the pay-per-view called John Cena's last match. Rip off Ric Flair's thing. I don't give a fuck. And that's where I want to see Cody and Cena in the passing of the torch moment.
All right. I like it. We're going to go back to him tagging with people, maybe with Cody again in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I have a match written down here, and I didn't realize I wrote 8 matches down. So that one just can't make it, unfortunately. So that was 5,
That's
right?
5, yeah.
My number 4. This is where we're talking about, is he going to be putting guys over? I don't know if he should put this guy over or not. But if he does, it'll make this guy's career. But I don't think this guy needs a win over John Cena to make his career, because his career's already going pretty well for what it is. But it's going to be a great match nonetheless. I think we need to see John Cena versus Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I have Breaker on my list. I think he would probably be an honorable mention for me because I don't see there being a win-win in this situation.
Okay.
This
is Hogan Austin for you?
I just don't think that it elevates either one of them by winning.
Right.
I think it hurts Breaker tremendously to lose to Cena, and I don't think Cena's at a point yet where beating him would mean that much. I think they need to build Cena back up a little bit. Sure. Because all he's done is put people over. I just think it's the wrong timing for Braun Breaker.
I just think it's a match I want to see in this run.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great.
Yeah.
But I just think it would do more harm than good for both of them.
Okay, you want to talk about young guys? Should he put him over? Should he not? This is all about my number 3, and this is a match I want to see badly. This is a match I think you might want to see badly. I think this could be a great, not only match. This will be a great. This could be a feud of the year. This right here could be story of the year for 2025 if done properly. My number 3 would be John Cena versus Logan Paul.
Yeah, I'm not as excited for that as you, but I think it would be great.
I'm very surprised. You're a big Logan Paul mark.
I am.
So I'm very surprised.
I've got a theory on this, and I will kind of tell my little vision of John Cena after you.
Not an Austin theory.
He is involved in my theory. But I'll kind of run down the way I see Cena's run, the way I would book it. But Logan Paul is involved in my run of Cena, and I would absolutely put John Cena over Logan Paul.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't hurt Logan. It really doesn't.
He can win or lose. He's Chris Jericho.
My 2 and my 1, I think, are quite obvious, and they're the 2 biggest names on the list. My number 2 has already been teased. If they don't do it, then I think Triple H has lost a step. But my number 2 has to be CM Punk.
Absolutely.
We have a full year. We don't need a story. We don't need the story will be tremendous, but we don't need anything. Just give us the fucking match.
Mm-hmm. Would you?
Here's my question. Where do you put Punk and Cena? Because that can sell at WrestleMania, but does it need to?
No. I honestly would
SummerSlam?
It doesn't even need to be that. You could do it at a Saudi Arabia, or you could do it at a whatever,
like a Clash at the Castle.
It could headline a Backlash.
Australian show. Yeah.
It could headline a Backlash. It could headline anything because Those guys have such a history. CM Punk is arguably John Cena's greatest rival. I'd say he's in the top three.
Top three for sure. Absolutely.
I think Edge is his Joker, and
Yeah.
Punk would be his Two-Face, maybe.
I like it.
Right?
I like that. Yeah.
And then I'm sure your number one is going to be Randy Orton.
My number one is Randy Orton, and
Yeah.
and Randy Orton's who I want to have his last match. Again, like I said, this is not the business decision. This is my heart. This is 100% me saying, how do I want to see John Cena go? How do I want to remember John Cena? How do I want to sit back and say that was John Cena's last time in a WWE ring? I want to see it with Randy Orton.
I want to see those guys
they
at
had
WrestleMania.
I mean, if we get that instead of what I want, I'm happy.
That's where I see Randy Orton, his place with Cena is at WrestleMania.
I mean, Randy is ready for a heel turn. It's been a while. We haven't seen that side of Randy in a while. And to turn him against, I'll allow you to call somebody else. I don't know if Randy is John Cena's greatest rival.
I think Edge is.
But I do think John Cena is Orton's greatest rival.
He's a Shawn Michaels to John Cena's Bret Hart. He's like, it's like, you have those rivals, right? You have Shawn and Bret, Austin and Rock, Randy and Cena are that.
I think John brought the best out of Randy for years.
I just think they ran it into the ground so much that people hated it.
They overdid it, and people started hating it. I wasn't one of those people because I always enjoyed their matches.
They always had great matches, but they just didn't read the room sometimes. Like their Royal Rumble match, like the crowd just didn't give a fuck about it. They had a great match at SummerSlam the year Triple H came back, I think 05. And then they went back to it at 06, and it was just kind of too much. Like 06, 07, they really ran those guys into the ground.
Here's a question. Is it too much? Is it just too much? And is it too unbelievable? If you wouldn't, you could have time by WrestleMania. You still have several months. Is it too much to try to get the title on Randy 2 more times? So we have 2 16-time champions going head to head to see who the first ever 17-time champion is going to be?
Well, I don't think that would make sense unless it was a triple threat match and they were both 16-time champs going into it. Because one person
isn't Randy a 14-time champion?
Yeah, but if Randy won that match, he wouldn't be a 17-time champion. He would still be a 16-time champion.
That's what I mean. Oh yeah, you're right.
Right? Your math ain't mathing.
You would have to do it with a vacated title, and then that gets too convoluted.
I don't like that.
Okay, no, I don't like that either.
You've missed a big name that I think should be on the list.
Okay, you tell me. It might be an honorable mention for me, but
I have
a few more names. I really
one of his greatest opponents of all time,
mm-hmm.
AJ Styles.
Okay,
gotta run it back.
Sure, definitely not on my 7. No,
he's on my 7.
Absolutely not.
He's on my 7 for sure. The way I kind of see, like the way I would like to see Cena booked is I would like to see him come back. And he's already acknowledged it. Hey, my win-loss record has been real shit over the last couple years. I want to see the John Cena revenge tour, Liv Morgan. I want to see Cena come back, pick up a win over a guy like Austin Theory. Mm-hmm. Pick up a win over I don't know whoever else he's put over. Like after
oh no, I guess not.
I would say, but then I would say that's where he can be like, okay, I beat you, Austin Theory. I want one of my greatest rivals of all time. I want to up the competition a little bit. Give me AJ Styles because AJ can lose. It won't matter, but that win will build Cena momentum. Then maybe you can put Logan Paul in there and have him pop off, have Cena beat Logan Paul. Then that's where you could maybe slide Punk in as a respect match. Hey, man, you're rolling. Well, let's go back and let's get to the well here, right?
And that's what I want. I want a respect match. I don't want Punk turning heel on this.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. Seth Rollins could be in there because they've had legendary matches as well.
Yeah,
At least
Seth's
one of
on,
us,
Seth's,
at least one of
Seth's
us
on my
thinks they
honorables.
have. Let's not get into that debate there.
Let's not go there.
Uh,
Seth is on my honorables.
I would like to see Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I think that would be great. I would like to see his last match against Cody. I think that's the perfect
I
send
mean,
off.
I mean, not only is it the perfect send off, that's a proper passing of the torch right there.
Absolutely. But by the time you get to that, also, hopefully you have built Cena back up to that level where it means something to beat him. That's why I want to see him win the world championship over Gunter, but then put Gunter back over for the belt a few months later.
Sure.
Right? Like have him defend the title against, I don't know, Seth Rollins and have him beat Seth. Like Seth can lose. It's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I just think that I like the idea of having him team with Cody and even Roman. I don't want to see him work Roman again. We've seen it too much lately.
Not one-on-one, but I'd like to see them.
The tag team?
I don't even want them against each other. Because when Roman comes back,
he's biggest
there's no way
babyface in the company.
he's gonna be the biggest babyface of the company. So I like the idea of Cody, possibly Seth, John Cena, maybe even CM Punk, all aligning themselves with Roman for the greater good against guys like the Bloodline,
Judgment
but also
Day.
one of my honorable mentions, the Judgment Day.
I'd like to see Cena and Dominic.
I want that. That was my 8th match. I want Cena and Dominic. I want Cena and Priest. I want Cena and Cody versus Priest versus Finn and JD. I want these matches. I really do.
What about the idea of and you know how John Cena used to do the open invitation, the US title open invitation?
I like that.
What if he tweaked that and instead of doing an open invitation, would do the call out? So like he would cut a promo and be like, I'm not open invitating, I'm calling you out, Logan Paul. Or I'm calling you out. Like I'm excited for this run.
Here's one in my honorable mentions that neither one of us have mentioned. There's a glaring omission in his amazing 20-year career. There's one thing he hasn't done or gotten yet. What say we put him up against Sammy and maybe get him going for that IC gold?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think there's enough time.
There's a good story in there for him to be like, I can't leave without doing one thing.
I think if you put the IC title on him, then you can't put the world title on him.
Okay.
And I think becoming a 17-time champion would trump the IC title.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. I'm not convinced they're going to make him a 17-time champion.
I think they should.
I think they should. I'm just saying I'm not convinced that they will pull the trigger on that. I don't know.
John Cena sucks. Love John Cena. I'm excited for this run. I can already guarantee that it will make the year-end award show that we do next year.
It's going to be the John Cena show. 100% it will be. Yeah.
I'm excited for it, man.
I'm excited for it. When he mentioned that, I already said 2025 is going to be an exciting year in wrestling because John Cena makes wrestling exciting. He really does. Fuck all the people. Like I don't care about your, oh, they shoved him down our throat or he can't wrestle 5 moves of doom. Guess what? Someone's buying those t-shirts because he sold more t-shirts than anybody in the world for a while. Someone's filling those stands on his matches. He made a lot of money for that company. If John Cena sucks so much, tell me where that money came from.
And why did you keep spending it, Marks?
Yeah. You're telling me you kept spending money to go boo him in those stadiums?
That'll show.
If that's what you did, good job, buddy. Good job. And tell me how much that he goes to bed crying that you booed him that night.
I go home and tweet about it.
He's not Jojo Siwa. All right. He doesn't care that you booed him that night. Actually, he probably liked it.
I can't think of a better way to bring it home after that.
Man, I was looking forward to the show all week because I couldn't. You had such an exciting weekend. I wish I could have done half the things that you did. It just didn't work out for me this time. Next time they come to Toronto, I'm definitely trying something. I want to get out of the country and do a couple shows in the next 12 months. So hopefully that'll work out for us. But I got to get to some wrestling, man. I am jonesing. GCW was in town and I didn't even get to go.
Yeah, that's too bad. Nick Gage was injured, couldn't make the show.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I still wish I would have went though, because GCW always puts on a good show. I saw some of the stuff that Cardona did in town, and he's fantastic as always, you know. So what do you have left, man? Anything about the weekend you haven't talked about? Anything you got left in the tank?
So tired. I'm too old for this shit.
Well, what I don't envy you for, you live in Barrie. Driving to Toronto and then back and then doing it again the next day and then doing it again the next day.
I'll tell you the mistake I made. I drove the first night to the Danforth. I got stuck in an accident on the way there.
Mhm.
So it took me almost 2 hours to get there. It took me an hour to get home. So that was great. And then we took the bus the next day, my brother and I.
Why did you take the bus rather than the GO train?
Because the train wasn't running.
Oh, they weren't running? Well, really? I didn't
On
know
Friday, yeah, it wasn't running. So we got on the bus
odd.
at 4, supposed to leave at 4 o'clock, didn't leave till 4:30.
Because you could get off at Union, just walk to the ACC.
Yeah, we didn't get that. We missed the whole press conference that we wanted to see. But the bus ride home, because normally it's an express bus. It gets on a Newmarket, goes to Aurora, gets on the highway, goes down to Toronto. And then it's just opposite on the way home. You get on the bus, goes to Aurora, goes to Newmarket. Well, this bus was not an express bus on the way home. We got on, I don't know what exit we got off on the highway. We stopped about 400 different times. It took us down the 401 instead of the 400. Like, I was livid, Mike. I did not get back into Newmarket. We got on the bus at 12 o'clock. I didn't get into Newmarket till 2:30. I did not get home till 3:30 in the morning. I was very tired. And then it was Money in the Bank the next day.
And then you did it again.
Old man still got it. Now, I didn't drink a lot this week, so that helped a lot. But,
well, yeah, obviously, because then we wouldn't have gotten the whole first half of the show. Because usually I ask you, like, "Hey, man, you went to this particular show. Like, can you tell me about it?" No, don't remember shit.
Yeah, I drink.
I drink.
But yeah, I will say, like, down. Good job, Toronto. Great job, WWE. Thank you for a great week to all the people I met and talked to down there. Phenomenal time. Yeah, man, that's all I got.
All right, man. Until next time, I want to say on behalf of the returning Rascals, I'm so happy about that. I can't get over that. That just happened today, so I'm still
and on behalf of
happy about
You Can't See Me.
I hate you so much. We're coming back next week, most likely with that WCW list we've been teasing you for weeks. We're working on some big guests coming up in the next few weeks. Not Sting. We're working on some big stuff. Thank you to everybody who's been watching our stuff and clicking those buttons, because we have had the biggest growth for our channels in the last month than we had in 4 years. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting us. Our subscription rate is soaring. We have reached over 250,000 views on our YouTube page. We are doing awesome with this show. It's all because of you guys for tuning in every week, and we appreciate it so much. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go add to the several hundreds of people who have already done it. And if you haven't told your best friend about it, tell them. You haven't told your grandmother about it, tell her to hit those subscribe buttons. And until next week, you, your best friend, and your grandma, you've been counted out.
Cheers.